The promotion party invitation must have gone to your spam folder. Managers and above only, you understand, Brenda from HR said with a smirk as I sat alone in the break room, eating my usual lunch of leftover pasta. The lie was so transparent I almost admired its boldness. We both knew I'd been deliberately excluded from celebrating the promotion I trained Marcus for, the promotion I'd been passed over for 3 times. But what made my hand freeze halfway to my mouth wasn't her cruelty. It was the email notification on my phone from Stories 92, the woman I'd been mentoring online for 5 years. Guess who just accepted a CEO position in Dallas? My name is Amelia Thompson, and I've been invisible at Pinnacle Marketing Solutions for 8 years. Not literally invisible, though sometimes it felt that way, but invisible in all the ways that mattered. While my colleagues attended conferences, networked at happy hours, and climbed the corporate ladder, I sat in my corner cubicle, doing the work of 3 people for the salary of half a person. Such a shame you can't make it, Brenda continued, her voice dripping with false sympathy. Marcus specifically requested the entire leadership team attend. But don't worry, I'm sure someone will post pictures on the company Slack. I nodded, returning to my pasta. That's thoughtful of him. She lingered, clearly hoping for more reaction. When none came, she huffed and click-clacked away in her designer heels, probably rushing to report that weird Amelia had taken the news exactly as expected, quietly, meekly, invisibly. The break room emptied as everyone headed to the 3rd floor conference room for the celebration. Through the thin walls, I could hear champagne corks popping, congratulations flowing, and Marcus's booming laugh as he accepted praise for innovations I'd suggested, strategies I'd developed, and clients I'd saved. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Stories 92. Hey Lighthouse, I'm actually in your city today. Starting Monday. I'm nervous. What if I'm not ready? What if they realize I'm just a girl from nowhere who got lucky? I smiled despite everything, typing back, "You're ready. Remember what we discussed about imposter syndrome? You didn't get lucky. You earned this. Trust your instincts and don't let anyone make you feel small. You've got this, rising star." Stories 92 had found me 5 years ago on an anonymous professional development forum. She was a brilliant young woman trapped in a dead-end job, full of innovative ideas but lacking confidence. I'd become her lighthouse, her steady guide through career decisions, negotiations, and the treacherous waters of corporate politics. We'd never exchanged real names or photos, keeping our mentorship pure and focused on growth rather than networking. Also, her next message read, "I'm implementing that total transparency initiative we discussed, starting with promotion decisions and salary bands. Think it'll cause chaos." "The best changes usually do," I replied. "Stand firm. The right people will thank you for it." As I finished my lunch, I could hear Marcus's speech through the wall. I couldn't have done it without my amazing team. Well, most of my team. Pause for laughter. Some people just aren't cut out for leadership. They're better suited for support roles. More laughter. I knew they were laughing at me, the woman who'd trained Marcus, who'd caught his mistakes, who'd stayed late fixing his presentations while he took credit at the 9 a.m. meetings I was somehow never invited to. 3 years ago, I'd applied for the same promotion. The feedback? Lacks executive presence. 2 years ago? Not a culture fit. Last year? Needs more visibility. Each time, they promoted someone I trained, someone whose mistakes I quietly corrected, someone who knew exactly how valuable I was but would never admit it publicly. I'd started looking for other jobs, but at 38, with a resume that showed 8 years in the same position, recruiters passed me over. "Why haven't you advanced?" they'd ask. How could I explain that I was too good at my job to be promoted, too essential in my support role to be allowed to rise? My phone rang. Unknown number, Dallas area code. Amelia Thompson. The voice was professional, crisp. "Yes. This is David Park from Pinnacle Corporate. The new CEO would like to meet with you urgently. Are you available to come to the executive conference room?" My stomach dropped. Were they firing me? Had someone finally decided that even my invisible contributions weren't worth my modest salary? "I'll be right there," I heard myself say. The walk to the executive floor felt like a death march. I'd only been up here twice, once for my initial interview 8 years ago, and once to deliver emergency documents when the printer near the C-suite broke. David Park waited by the elevator, his expression unreadable. "Right this way, Miss Thompson." The executive conference room was intimidating, floor-to-ceiling windows, a table that could seat 30, and the kind of silence that came with serious soundproofing. But it was empty except for a woman standing at the window, her back to me. "Thank you, David," she said without turning. "Could you ask the leadership team to join us?" "All of them, including the ones at Mr. Richards' promotion party." David nodded and left. The woman turned, and my breath caught. She was younger than I'd imagined, early 30s, with kind eyes behind stylish glasses and an energy that filled the room. But what struck me most was her expression when she looked at me: recognition, gratitude, and something that looked like awe. "Lighthouse," she said simply. The world tilted. "Rising star." She crossed the room in 3 quick strides and took my hands. "Layla Patel, and you're Amelia Thompson." I looked you up the moment I got access to the personnel files. 8 years in the same position, consistently exceeding every metric, training half the management team, and somehow never promoted. "How did you?" "No, it was you. Your writing style is distinctive. Plus, you mentioned once that you worked for a marketing firm in Dallas that rhymed with cynical. It wasn't hard to piece together once I knew I was coming here." I sank into a chair, overwhelmed. "You're our new CEO. But stare eyes. Layla, you're so young." She grinned. 31. And yes, the board was skeptical until I showed them my track record. Turned around 2 failing companies using strategies a brilliant mentor taught me. Something about finding the invisible talent and making it visible. Voices approached in the hallway. Layla squared her shoulders, transforming from my grateful mentee to a formidable CEO in seconds. "Let me handle this," she said quietly. "Trust me, Lighthouse. It's time you were seen." The door burst open and Pinnacle's entire leadership team filed in, champagne flutes still in hand. Marcus swayed slightly, his face flushed with alcohol and success. Brenda followed, along with the various VPs and directors who'd spent years looking through me. "Ah, the leadership team," Layla said coolly, "plus 1 addition I specifically requested. Please, everyone sit." They arranged themselves around the table, shooting confused glances at me. I tried to shrink into my chair, but Layla's hand on my shoulder kept me grounded. "I've spent the morning reviewing our company's performance metrics," Layla began, pulling up a presentation on the main screen. "Fascinating reading. Mr. Richards, congratulations on your promotion. Tell me who trained you for your new role." Marcus straightened, preening. "Well, I've had various mentors. According to the documentation, Ms. Thompson created your entire training plan. She also appears to have corrected numerous errors in your client presentations. Would you like me to show the track changes?" His face paled. She was just doing her job." "Indeed. Her job, your job, and apparently several other people's jobs." Layla clicked through slides showing productivity metrics, client retention rates, and project outcomes. "In fact, when I graph employee contributions against promotions, I find an interesting inverse correlation. The people doing the most work seem to advance the least." "Now see here," Brenda interjected. "Our promotion process is entirely merit-based." "Is it?" Layla pulled up another slide. "Because I have here 3 years of Ms. Thompson's promotion applications. Rejected for lacking executive presence while she was simultaneously ghostwriting executive communications. Rejected for not being a culture fit while maintaining the highest peer review scores in the company. Rejected for needing more visibility while being explicitly excluded from leadership meetings and events." She paused, letting the words sink in. "Like today's promotion party, which accidentally forgot to include the person who made the promotion possible." "That's a serious accusation," one of the VPs blustered. "It's not an accusation. It's a statement of fact. I have the email chains." Layla's smile was sharp. "Did you know it keeps records of all recalled messages? Fascinating reading. Particularly the one where you, Brenda, specifically instructed that Ms. Thompson be removed from the invitation list." Brenda's mouth opened and closed like a fish. "But here's what really interests me," Layla continued, pulling up financial data. "Our most profitable client accounts, all managed by Ms. Thompson. Our most successful campaigns, originated by Ms. Thompson. Our highest employee retention rates, in departments where Ms. Thompson has trained the staff." She turned to face the room fully. "You've built an entire leadership structure on the foundation of one woman's invisible labor." And you've kept her buried because you knew that if she left, your house of cards would collapse. This is ridiculous, Marcus slurred. Amelia's a good worker bee, but she's not leadership material. She doesn't even speak up in meetings. The meetings she's not invited to, Layla asked sweetly, or the ones where her ideas are dismissed until someone else presents them. I found my voice. May 15th, 2019. I suggested the Digital Transformation Initiative in the quarterly planning meeting. Marcus, you said it was too ambitious for someone at my level. June 3rd, 2019, you presented the exact same initiative as your idea. October 2020, I continued, emboldened. I identified the Patterson Industries opportunity. Brenda, you told me to stay in my lane. November 2020, it became Marcus's big win. January 2021, I was on a roll now. I wrote the crisis communication plan that saved the Henderson account. The email trail shows I sent it to you at 11:47 p.m. You presented it to the board at 9 a.m. the next morning. As your work. The room had gone silent. Layla nodded approvingly. I have 8 years of examples, I said quietly. 8 years of being told I wasn't ready while training my replacements. 8 years of being essential but invisible. 8 years of being paid $67,000 to do work that you hired consultants to do for $400,000. The salary records, someone whispered in horror. Layla smiled. Oh yes, let's discuss salaries. Ms. Thompson makes less than the department coordinator. The coordinator she trained, who reports to her unofficially because officially, that would mean acknowledging her actual role. She stood commanding the room. So here's what's going to happen. Effective immediately, I'm restructuring this department. Ms. Thompson, I'm offering you the position of Executive Vice President of Strategic Operations, reporting directly to me. Your starting salary will be $350,000, with 5 years of retroactive paid adjustments for the responsibilities you've been carrying without compensation. Gasps echoed around the table. My head spun. That's my position, Marcus sputtered. Was your position, Layla corrected. You're being reassigned to special projects. Consider it an opportunity to learn the job you claim to already know. Miss Thompson will be gracious enough to train you. Again. This is wrongful termination, Brenda shrieked. No, it's restructuring. You're welcome to resign if you're unhappy with your new role in. Let me see. Administrative support. I believe you told Ms. Thompson that support roles were valuable? Time to prove it. One by one, she went through the leadership team. Those who had built their careers on others' invisible labor found themselves in the very positions they'd looked down on. Those who'd actually contributed were promoted. The transformation was swift and ruthless. You can't do this, the VP of Operations said weakly. I can and I am. Anyone who wants to lead is welcome to do so. But your non-competes are ironclad, and good luck explaining to future employers why you left after one day with a new CEO. She paused. Or you can stay, learn what it's like to actually work for your success, and maybe, earn your way back up. Your choice. The room emptied slowly, shell-shocked executives stumbling out. Only Layla and I remained. I can't accept this, I said when I found my voice. The salary, the retroactive pay, it's too much. It's exactly what you're worth. Layla said firmly, probably less considering the value you've created. Amelia, you saved my career 5 years ago. You taught me to see my own worth when everyone else saw just another young woman of color in tech. You gave me strategies, confidence, and most importantly, you taught me to recognize invisible talent in myself and others. She pulled out her phone, showing me our 5 years of messages. Every piece of advice you gave me, I implemented. Every strategy worked. I turned 2 companies around using your playbook. The board hired me specifically because I promised to find and elevate hidden talent. I just didn't tell them I already knew exactly where to find it. Tears blurred my vision. I don't know what to say. Say you'll help me transform this company. Say you'll finally step into the light you've been shining on everyone else. She grinned. Also say you'll keep mentoring me. CEO is a big jump, and I'm going to need my lighthouse more than ever. I laughed through my tears. Always rising star. 6 months later, Pinnacle Marketing Solutions was unrecognizable. The invisible workers had been made visible, their contributions acknowledged and compensated. Marcus, surprisingly, had buckled down and actually learned his job. Brenda lasted 2 weeks in support before resigning. The company's profits soared as talented people finally had the authority to implement their ideas. The toxic culture of taking credit for others' work crumbled under Layla's transparent leadership. I kept my corner cubicle, much to everyone's confusion. But I had windows installed and walls knocked down, turning it into a bright, open workspace where anyone could drop by for mentorship. The same corner where I'd been invisible for 8 years became a beacon for every overlooked employee finding their voice. "Why did you keep the cubicle?" Layla asked one day, finding me there with a group of junior employees, teaching them negotiation strategies. I smiled, thinking of all the lunches eaten alone, all the parties I'd been excluded from, all the times I'd been overlooked. To remember where I came from, and to make sure no one else has to stay invisible. She nodded, understanding. The best lighthouses are built where the rocks are most dangerous. Exactly, I agreed, watching my former corner transform into a hub of possibility. And the best leaders remember that today's invisible worker might be tomorrow's CEO. You just have to be willing to see them. The promotion party photos from Marcus's celebration still circulated on the company Slack, but now they served a different purpose, a reminder of the old pinnacle where talent was buried instead of elevated. The new pinnacle had a different philosophy, one painted in bold letters in the lobby. Visibility is not about being seen. It's about seeing others. And in my bright corner office, surrounded by the people I was lifting up, I finally understood that being invisible had been my superpower all along. It had taught me to see others who were overlooked, to value contributions over credit, and to build quietly until the moment to shine arrived. The moment had arrived, brought by a rising star who'd never forgotten her lighthouse. And together, we were making sure that no one at Pinnacle would ever be invisible again.